Second lesson about the improvisation. You have to hear the first before. The second important things, second I don't remember, is that you have to put a limit in what you are using. A keyboard could have 64 notes. With 64 notes, it's very difficult to make something good. With one note, it's very difficult to make something bad. With two notes, it's very difficult to make something wrong, something bad, something. So, if you put the limits in what you are using, with your recorder, guitar, violin, keyboard, you have a good direction. You will make a good improvisation, but more important, you are learning something, because the question is to learn something, is to be able to make again, not exactly the same, something good as the first. If you make one time in your life something very, very good, and you are not able to do this is another thing. This is not important. This is not really musical. Music is something that improves. You are learning and what you are learning in one argument. Improvisation is very useful when you are playing Handel or Bach. What you're learning playing Bach is very useful for improvisation. So music is something with a different layer that you put one upon the other. So put a limit in what you are using. For example, the first step, make an improvisation with one note, without finger. In effect, I'm not using one note, I'm using two notes, two things. The note and the silence, the rest is not something that we can hear for hour. But if for example, if you have a glockenspiel or xylophone, metallophone, marimba, it's better. If you have a guitar, boom, with a voice, that is more interesting. Why it's important that you make something with one note? Because you are searching in this note what you can make and what you can do. Long, short, stark, fake, I don't know, weak, vibrato, without vibrato, ritmo, pom 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 pom. And then you are constructing something with few elements. Of course, it's interesting if you exercise with all the notes. For example, in this tenor, the lower note. It's very interesting. It could seem that I'm crazy, but what I'm doing, yeah, I'm playing, but really, the most important thing, I'm not really playing. I'm listening and I'm searching something. So there is two people. One is doing and one is try to understand, to remember, to search something new, to change. And there is the same people, same person, but I am myself, but I am hearing myself like a listener, like a people on 1 meter in front. This is very important. You will make no good improvisation if you just making. You have to is player and listener. And there is something, I make something, I make a reflection, I think about this something, I make something different, and I put a relationship between both. There is two people that create an improvisation, the player and the listener. Is the listener too. There has to be a good musician. A good listener is a good musician that put in relationship the first and the third, the second and the seventh, the first part and the second part. Without a listener, the improvisation doesn't exist, and each player is a listener too. Two notes. The first two notes is like a word. My English is not so good. Flute, 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 tut, tut. So it's like you are speaking. And another thing typical for improvisation, you can improve. You make one thing, two, three, four, five, six, seven, and then one very long, low, and one, and after nothing, nothing, and after four. So it's like drawing. You're making your pattern, your texture. You have to hear these two first notes as it was the first time in your life that you heard them. You have to believe in yourself and this note and your instrument and your listener. Make confiance. And this two note has to be for you a masterpiece. But they are wonderful, not because I am nothing in this moment. My name, my ability has nothing to do. It's the music that is speaking. These two notes are wonderful. New theme. Not more flute, but teflu. Toffli. I don't know if my English is not so good, but it's a new word. And then a word compound with three parts. New word. Seems a conclusion. And then just two notes. But with two notes I can still a day playing just two notes. And if you try to make it two notes, one note for 5 minutes, two notes for 5 minutes, three notes, four notes, if you arrive at 24 notes in the first day of your learning, you will learn nothing. If you arrive at 24 notes in 2 years, you will learn very, very much. So don't be quickly. There is nothing. You doesn't need to arrive in few hours. More slow you are learning, and more you will learn. This is very important. Of course, the note can be not the same, every the same. The important is not which note, but the fact that you are making something with two notes.